Well, we're excited to be back for another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast, and we are remote today. We are in Springfield, Missouri, in a hideaway place. We're not even going to tell you where we're located, but I am in the presence, and I am honored to have as a guest today on the Life Insurance Academy podcast, Mr. Edward Pritchett, all the way from Puerto Rico.
Yes, sir. In this very cold place, all the way from Puerto Rico.
I know. What was the temperature yesterday?
I think it was like 85 and sunny when I left.
That was terrible. That's just terrible. I feel so bad for you that you.
It's okay to feel bad for us. It gets a little rough down there every now and again.
There you go. Well, Edward, you've been you're like a legend in the business. I've heard all about you. It's like this phantom person. And of course, in the circles that we run in, I've had the pleasure of meeting Marlon, of course, and we've gotten to know him. Marlon's actually poured into agents that we work with, and he's spoken on the podcast before, and we've gotten to know Nate, and we've supported Nate in some of his events, and I've only ever heard good things about you. So good. I was looking forward to this day, and so I'm excited that you're on the podcast with us today. How long have you been in the business? Tell, for our listeners, a little bit about your backstory.
Well, I've been in the business now going on 14 years. Definitely, I think a lot of people who get into this industry, I think from knowing your background and your story, that's not where you started, right? So I started actually in the engineering world. Chemical engineering was my degree in college, and I worked in that world for about 3 years. And things shifted, right? And life changes, and it put this in front of me, and I was able to step into it a little over 14 years ago now, and it's been a journey, right? And it's been a journey that's led me to some amazing places and what this industry can actually do for your life, for your family's life, for what you think your future is going to look like. Because I can tell you 14 years ago, I didn't see everything that's going on now. That was not on the radar. Yeah. But, in a stepwise way, it just showed me and revealed greater and greater things that I could do because of this industry, because of what we can do with life insurance and insurance in general. Now,
chemical engineering, insurance. You didn't wake up one day and say, I'm just going to quit this and try that. How did that happen?
Well, it was a situation where I was forced out of what I was doing, right? We all have been there, especially if you're working in a W-2 position, you get to that place where maybe you don't have a choice anymore. Yeah. For me, it was the Great Recession. I had an engineering job. That company started
2008, 2009?
2007, 2008. Started losing money there. The company evaporated basically, so I didn't have a job, and I was looking for another engineering job. People weren't hiring a whole bunch of engineers in 2008, especially where I was living. Yep. So I had to find something, and luckily I spoke with someone who's like, I think you could be good at this, and I think you have the ability to care about people and do something that would be valuable to them. And over time, I actually learned exactly the value I was adding back to my clients. I think initially it was more about just I needed a job. Yeah. I needed to make an income. But I was able to learn what I was actually doing for my clients. And, whenever I finally figured that out, then my career in this industry I was locked in, and things started to take off when I was able to really connect what I was doing with the income that I was making. So,
what type of products were you selling when you started?
Primarily, we started with, basic life, whole life and term for the individual market. And then the company that I was working with at the time decided to switch into employee benefits. So Section 125, and I was knocking on 40 businesses a day, trying to get to the key stakeholders and the decision makers. A lot of great training. I definitely got my insurance education during that process, because you gotta learn it at some point in time or some way. And so going through that really taught me more and more about this industry, and then again finding a way to connect an actual passion to what I was doing, and that's when I started to see my career take off.
And I know you were with Symmetry Financial Group. When did that you didn't start there?
I didn't start there. No, that was about 2 years into my insurance journey. So I was at the point with the company I had been with. I was just like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not making an impact. I'm not making any money. Yeah. Right. And I have this engineering degree. I had my fallback. So I started. Now the economy was starting to recover a little bit. So I was put some job applications in, and I was actually in the process of going through being selected for a couple of positions. But I still needed to make money in the here and now. was looking for other places in the insurance world, and got a call from, actually it was one of the founders of Symmetry Financial Group. They were only a year old, the company at that time. And so I got to actually interview with him, and he got me started. He was really the person that connected me to the passion, right? Like, he was able to ask me questions where I was like, wait, this insurance thing is actually a real legit thing. Like, I'm helping clients if I actually go out and do this properly. And then between that, solid lead resource, solid training, I mean, it's just been, not smooth sailing, but we've been moving, since then. And it's been 11 years now that I've been with Symmetry Financial Group.
When did you go from personal sales to realizing that you could actually do something here? Agency growth, development, hiring agents, and working with people. What did you see inside of yourself, or did you see that at the time?
That's what I would say is the actual case, is that I didn't see it in myself. I had a mentor who saw it in me, right? What I always see now is, if you can get good at the production side of this business, everything that you do on the production side of this business is the exact same on the building side, right?
How so?
Well, it's just, so if I can get a lead, right? That's just a resource. It's a connection to someone who wants something that I have.
That's right.
And I can pick up the phone and call them, right?
Yeah.
I can set an appointment. I can go out there and sit with them, discover their need, and help them solve it, and then repeat that cycle. I'm going to be a great producer, right? That's what makes a great producer. On the building side, all I need is a lead.
That's
someone
right.
who's looking for an opportunity, a job, a change in career, change in position. I need to be able to call them and set a time to talk with them. I need to be able to hear them, find out what do they need, and see if what I have can help solve that problem, and then help them walk the path to do that. And then wash, rinse, repeat. Like, it's the same things. It's just a slight change in who I'm talking to, what I'm having to talk about, and how I go about doing the process. But I have to have the same amount of care for my client as I do for an agent that I want to onboard, right? I have to allow my client to make a decision for themselves the same way I have to allow an agent to make a decision for themselves that they're going to work. Because I can't work for them. I can't, right? The insurance carriers frown upon us if we sign our client's application, right? So I can't do that, right? I can't go out and pick up the phone for my agent. So they have to there's certain things that they have to do, and I have to allow them to do that. But the practices, the strategies, the energy that you need for production is the same as agency building. And I had a mentor that, he saw what I was doing on the personal production side and said, you could translate this to a lot of agents and help a lot of agents go out and do this as well. Like, how about you come help me with build my organization, right? Be a new agent mentor for me, and see what you think. And as I was doing that, and at the same time, like when I was doing that, I asked him, I was like, well, can I still build my own agency too while I'm being your new agent mentor? He said, sure, right? Like, he's like, yeah, go ahead, of course, do that. So I was doing both at the same time. And then I got to the point where I had to tell him, I was like, yeah, I'm losing a lot of money being your new agent mentor, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you give that job to somebody else, and I'm just gonna continue to focus and build,
how to make that work,
build my organization. Yeah, it was brilliant. I use the same technique to this day. Recently, my father was a hired base shop director for me, and we were building an organization together. And now we got to the point where he's off running his own agency that he built, alongside with me, and I'm putting somebody else into the position that he was in to get them to start to build an agency with me, with the intention of one day they're going to be running their own organization. Yeah. I mean, that's what this business, like, if you get really good at duplicating, you can grow an agency to tremendous size and at tremendous scale. And the more value you add, the more value you're going to see back in return.
What's the secret in finding talent and investing in the right people along the way when you're doing the hiring and the training? Because there's a lot of people that will blow up your phone 24/7.
Yeah.
And then there's people that you should invest time in, and then there's people that you probably just need to say, do this and we'll see how it goes. How do you determine the talent and where your resources and energy goes? Because I think a lot of people who think about recruiting, they get 2 or 3 agents, they consume all of their time, and they don't know how to get past that level. They get stuck right there. What would you say to those?
Well, that's going back to what I was saying about signing the client's application. like there's an insurance law that says I cannot do that.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That there's a point where there's certain things that they have to do, and that's what I have to realize on the building side. Right. There are certain things that an agent has to do. There's certain things I cannot do for them. If you don't know what those things are, I would say talk with a mentor who's helping you and figure those things out. Really outline that, because the people that I choose to work with, and hear what I said there, choose to work with, are the people who do the proper activities without me having to ask them. You know, they know the expectations. Those have been laid out clearly. They have a system. They know what the standard is. And then we just go through and see, are they doing that on a regular basis? You know, are they plugging in to get the information that they need, the training, the tools? This kind of sounds like a conversation we've recently been having.
Yes.
But like it's having those things, right? And those are the people who, when they call my phone, I pick up. And I'm not afraid to say this or bashful or shy, but like there are people who, like, when they call, if they're not doing those things, I'm not answering your phone, right? Like, you may kind of send some profit to me in a short term, but you're not going to be the long-term investment for my business. You're not going to give me that 10x, 50x, 100x growth. The people who come in and do the right things, the systematic things, those are the people who I know I do need to spend some time with. You know, and that time is really more about, it's not teaching them or training them. We're at a conference right now that people can get just about all the information you need, right, to go out and build and run an insurance business, be a producer. Like, it's out there, right? I know I'm not the smartest man in insurance. I said it, all right? I'm not the smartest man. I don't have to be, right? Because if I have the right people working with me who are willing to dig in and invest in themselves, and I can be a great guide. Yeah. That's what I'm working to be. I'm working to be the best guide in the insurance industry. And if I can guide more people to success, then I'm happy to hide behind the curtains and, you know, get the value that comes back from the success that I'm creating out in the front. And that's what it takes to be a great builder. And being able to realize that and understand and have a game plan of how you can do that on a regular basis.
So what is the structure? You can share whatever you feel comfortable sharing here. But what does the structure of your business look like now after 14 years, or I guess 12 years, right, into the business with Symmetry? What does that look like now? How many people are running their own business that you don't have any involvement in? I mean, what does this ecosystem look like now with the Edward Pritchett fingerprint that you put on it?
At this point in time, we have, on a weekly basis, around 700 active writers. I have two very large organizations that do probably about 70% of the overall volume for my agency. And the two individuals that run those organizations, I mean, we chat every now and again. But like, I don't have to do much work other than just support them. You know, I'll reach out, work with their team, their leaders, things of that nature. But they're running their businesses, you know, and it's amazing, like, to be able to build a business.
So the duplication has really taken.
It has taken off, and like to set up something where I've put some people into place where just all I have to do is invest in them, and they go and do everything else that needs to be taken care of, right? And then my family get to benefit from that. I don't know how long it's going to go, but I'm hoping it's going to be a very long time. And then the other 30% of my organization, that's kind of I'd call it that farm team. Like, I'm working with them to get them to the point where they're at the same spot as these other two gentlemen. And I do a lot more hands-on, kind of, you know, more weekly communications calls, webinars, trainings. Still working with a personal-based shop, so people that I hire directly to myself. And work with those. I get to be a lot pickier these days, which is kind of nice. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you want to be able to be picky with how you hire, build a big organization. I promise you can get a lot pickier the larger you're able to grow and build your organization. In the beginning, you had asked earlier, like, how do you find talent? For me, it's anyone who's willing to do the key steps to become a part of the insurance industry, right? Like, I think anybody can step in and do this opportunity if they're willing to make changes, right? Like, all you have to do is be a changed person, and you can do something different. So I'm always one to give people that opportunity, that chance, but it doesn't mean I'm just going to do stuff for you, right? You have to come in and actually bring the work, bring that aspect of it, and we'll bring the other side. You know, we'll bring the knowledge, we'll bring the training, we'll give you the tools. Like, we'll have those things that you can then go in and work start your career and grow it.
Sure. I know you recently moved to Puerto Rico from the U.S.
Yeah. Three years ago.
3 years ago.
That's kind of recently, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking the difference between the times that we've been married. So yeah, for my marriage, this has been kind of like a long time. But yeah, been there for about 3.5 years now.
And so you run your operations from Puerto Rico, and your business throughout the U.S. Here.
Correct.
Do you also have business in Puerto Rico?
Yep.
Okay, and so you have an office there as well?
Yeah. So my core corporate office is actually still in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
So we have 10 staff members there. We have an office in Puerto Rico, in Toa Baja, and we have 8 staff members working out of that office. So that's something we're working on a call center model there in Puerto Rico, in addition to just the support that the Puerto Rico office does for the U.S.-based work that we do.
So you build a big business, you have some flexibility about where you live.
Yeah.
And how you live.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely gives you some flexibility on that.
It's been a worthwhile investment?
It has definitely been a worthwhile investment. I definitely would. I wouldn't change. Like, the only thing I would change is to go back to myself. 5 or 7 years ago, say you need to be working a little bit harder than this. Stop goofing off a little bit. Like you could push it a little bit more than what you're doing.
Yeah.
Other than that, the trajectory that we've been on, this has been an amazing journey, and looking forward to continuing it.
That's great. I heard you speak this morning, and you spoke about a book you were reading on the way over on the flight, and the reports about what the insurance industry has done. Mm-hmm. I know you have some perspective on that, but for new people that are listening that might be considering getting in the business or just gotten started or wondering if this is the right career for them still, they're in that where you were that first year and you don't even know if you made $30,000 in your first year.
Yeah.
Well, that was gross. That was before all of your expenses. So. Yeah. I don't know what the net was on that, but it probably wasn't
not good. Not good.
But there's a lot of people that get in the business that have those kind of starts. Mm-hmm. And yet your vantage point now and perspective on where the business is and where it's going is much different. And I would like our listeners to hear what that is from your perspective before we wrap.
Well, I think when you begin anything, you're at the bottom of the mountain, right? Yeah. Like you're starting your way up and you can't see the forest for the trees or the trees for the forest, whichever way you want to look at it. Yeah. And luckily I had, again, some solid mentorship around me that kept me engaged enough to get me through those early years, or I may have done what the majority of people do and quit, right? Mm-hmm. But then the more I've been in the industry, I continue to study it. One of the most boring but great reports that ever gets put out is every year in October, the U.S. Treasury Department puts out its report on the insurance industry. And going through there, you get to see, it names how much premium went to different carriers, entities, annuity premium, health insurance premium. It breaks it all down. And I'm an engineer, so I'm a numbers guy. I love digging into that kind of stuff.
You're like, I can't wait for this.
I know, report. Exactly. It's like, man, 300 pages, freshly printed. This is awesome, But digging into that kind of stuff, and even the different entities that do a lot of work as far as from a consulting standpoint, as far as what's happening, trends, consumer reports, things of that nature, and our industry where we are right now. I mean, it just continues to grow. Like leaps and bounds type growth. We all know the issues that our country, our world has had to go through over the past couple of years. And there's been many industries that have been hard hit by that, but not ours. I mean, everything that's going on just continues to renew people's interest and making sure that they're protected, themselves, their families, their future, their retirement, for health reasons, like all these things. And so just looking back, 2021, first 3 quarters of the year, again, the full report's not out for the whole year. It's a lot of, beans to count, right, when they're kind of tallying all this up. But they saw an 18% growth in a $1 trillion industry. This is just in the U.S. 18% growth between 2020 and 2021. And all the numbers right now, where we are so far in this year, only point to the industry having another year of record growth. And we're talking about an industry that's taken in $1 trillion of premium on the life side. You add in property and casualty and health, and we're now getting into the $2 to $3 trillion range every single year. Yeah. It's unfathomable. You can't, you can try to do as many analogies as you want to, but you can't understand that amount of money. Yeah. And if anyone who's in this industry isn't feeling that or getting a part of that, then they need to really take a look at the systems that they're using
Yeah.
or their belief in what they're doing. Because people want life insurance, people want health insurance, people want disability, critical illness, people want property and casualty.
Yeah.
They want, like, that's not going to go away anytime soon. And I think as we start seeing, the baby boomer generation really move into full retirement, there's going to be a huge transfer of wealth that's going to start to happen, that the likes that we haven't ever seen. Like all these IRAs, retirement plans, all that's going to start to trickle down to the up and coming generations and has to be transferred by somebody. And so that's going to open up another opportunity for the right insurance agents to be able to help. Like that's what we're guides.
That's right.
We guide money into the right place so that it can be used at the right time. And the more guiding you do, the bigger your pockets are going to be at the end of the day.
The business is exploding. That's all I can say.
It is exploding
absolutely
in a huge
exploding.
way. Huge
And the
way.
only thing I can see, when we're here at this event, and there's so many different types of organizations represented, and this idea that everybody has to be protective. Like when you hear of 18% growth on the $1 trillion industry, like we don't have enough people to serve the demand.
No,
We do
and
not have enough
the
people to
average
serve the
age
demand.
of a life insurance agent right now is around 59 years old.
Yeah.
So like, there's
And
going to be
that's
some.
changing.
It's starting
Yeah,
to
it's
change, but it's
changing
still
rapidly,
like
yeah.
active agents.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a LIMRA stat. So maybe they need to LIMRA. You need to go and do some more research. Make sure we know how old the average agent is these days. But I mean, even so, we're going to need more new agents to replace that. But we're just going to need more agents in general.
Correct.
To keep up with the demand that is coming.
Correct.
And continues to grow every year.
Well, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show for a little
Thank you,
bit
sir.
today. I
Pleasure to be
appreciate
on
your
with you, man.
time. So good to meet you.
Yes, sir.
And much continued success to you. And thanks for listening, guys, to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We'll see you in the next one.